Hello everybody, it's Monday, February 25th, early afternoon. Today I want to talk about truth. There's a few different aspects of truth. One is a list of dates of historical events from any number of locations and contents and categories. That's one type of truth, which sometimes aren't always written correctly, so will they be still true after the fact? No. Another type of truth is things that happen to you, events that happen to you, things that you've done in your life. Because you've done them and experienced them, that makes it true. Another type of truth is facing truth within yourself, and very often people don't like this because it's usually associated with something negative, not always, but from my experience, facing the truth about something is usually about something negative. And that can cause people to be angry, to not like the answer they get from somebody when they were hoping for something, for another type of answer, because they wanted it to be true or didn't want to face reality. That's another aspect of truth, is reality and non-reality. For example, you get up every day and go to work and you're home at 6 o'clock every day. That's a reality for you. So somebody could come along and say, well, I don't believe you. I don't think this happens. Well, sorry, that's the truth, because it does happen. You know it happens, you do it every day, so that makes it true. And that's all that matters, that you know the truth no matter what anyone else says. And I will stress this point for every aspect of life. If somebody doesn't believe you with something, like if you've shared with them a historical fact or something that happened in a football or soccer match, and you saw it yourself, but they didn't see it or they missed it, they could say, "Well, that didn't happen," but you know it did. It's true, and you could try to pull up the facts, in a website or whatever with the information, even a video, and they may not want to see it because it'll make them be incorrect, and a lot of people don't like that. And another part about truth is facing your fears and your past, your present, things that are causing you trouble, which you probably know deep down are causing you trouble, but you don't know how to change it or are afraid to change it. People are afraid of change. So very often, let's say for example, you've picked out outfit to wear a night out, and you think it looks good, and the people around you have at least been polite and said, yeah, you look good, and then you keep wearing this particular style of the outfit on a night out. Then finally, somebody, a good friend of yours, comes to you and says, you know what, this outfit doesn't do anything for you. I think you might want to change. And the first initial reaction is to get on the defensive, to run into a shell or a corner, or to get aggressive and attack, and sometimes things can get ugly with people depending on how personal the subject is. For example, dating partners, or I have a buddy who likes this particular girl, but she just looks like trouble, possible gold digger, but she's really hot, for example, and he just wants to go out with her. But when I told him my opinion was, he got mad at me, hung up the phone, and eventually after a few weeks he called me up and said, you know what, you were right, I didn't see it, I was blind, and I'm sorry. That's one type of example of something that could happen. I've seen that happen myself. Um, and or there's things that have been ongoing in your life. For example, me, for example, for a long time, bless her heart, my mom, who passed away almost a year from now, she would very often call and like 10 times a day with things, requests, whatever, and it started to interfere with my relationship with my wife. And I didn't realize it at the time because she was my mom. She helped me out a lot more than anyone else did at some times, at some periods of my life, at some points. And I didn't want to think negatively of her, so I was choosing not to accept the truth. I'd get defensive, argumentative, and that's another type of example that was something ongoing when deep down inside I could see it. I was starting to see these things, and I eventually had to put a change to it, and it was hard, both for my mom and myself, but it was a change for the better. And it's these types of things, facing these truths. Maybe you're stuck at a job you don't like, but you've gotten comfortable. You know, it's a good location where you live. You can come home early or whatever, but for the most part, you're miserable there, and you don't want to change. So if, let's say, your sister comes up to you and says, I'm worried about you. You look really stressed and sick at this job. You'll have hundreds of reasons why it's a better place for you, because you don't want to hear the truth from your sister, who cares about you. And this can come between many friends and family members and partners. So honestly speaking, the best thing that I've learned is to come to terms with a situation, and to deal with it on a mature level, and open one's eyes to see things for what it really is. And there are good situations and truths that come up too, obviously. Um, but for the other aspect, I've had conversations with people, and I would tell them, let's say, for example, um, I don't know, an athlete was involved in a particular crime but was acquitted and found that it was untrue. I could relay this to a friend of mine who would say, no, 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 I don't like this guy. He was a criminal and he was involved in murders. And I could tell them that, that this is actually what happened, and I hate to break it to you, but your opinion of him hasn't been right. And here's the website, and then the person will get defensive, etc., because they don't like to be wrong, and that's the human ego coming into play. So at that point, if I've learned that if somebody doesn't believe something you say or want to believe, just let them go on. Don't bother to be the one to try and convince them. I've been guilty of this even up to the present, but I've slowly been working on correcting this. And as for your truth, I think that has a lot to do with what your calling is in life. Listen to your gut and go with it. And don't listen to other people. They don't know your truth inside. If they haven't experienced it, like the way you have, they can't answer. And that's about anything in life. People have said that I shouldn't have let, my mother's passing affect me so much the way I did. Well, I'm like, I didn't choose it. It just happened that way. If you think about it, not having worked for 3 or 4 months versus stress of 20 years, let's say, that's not a big deal in my opinion. Um, so no one else can speak for you. They might have had similar things happen to them, which could be true, but anything that happens to anybody is their own truth, and that will differ. Even if they were at the same event, let's say, for example, they were at a hockey game, and the guy in the black shirt tripped the guy in the white shirt. Half the people could say the black guy in the black T-shirt tripped the guy in the white T-shirt and fell on the ice, whereas the other half of the people will say that the guy in the black T-shirt didn't do anything. The guy in the white T-shirt simply fell, and he sucks at skating, for example. So that's a difference of opinion. Um, even though the video evidence could clearly show the guy in the black T-shirt tripped the guy in the white T-shirt, maybe the people who want to think the guy in the white T-shirt simply fell is because they're fans of the team who the guy in the black T-shirt plays for example. That's an example that happens very often with many life situations. So just use that analogy. As for historical facts, um, even things written in stone aren't always true. Things have been needed to the historical events have been had to have been corrected over the years, and therefore creates a new truth. But as for you, follow what's true to you. That means job, friends, partner. If people give you advice, if they're close friends, even if you might not like their responses, it's usually because they care about you and they're trying to protect you. Um, or you could have somebody who is going through something in their life and it's causing them stress. Whereas, for example, I have a friend who's out west chasing oil money in engineering, and he's been trying to get me to go out there, but that's not my calling. I've explained that to him, and he's still trying to get me out there because maybe he feels it's not right for him deep down, or he's told me he's worked like a dog before, and maybe he doesn't want to feel alone out there, which is fine. I thank him for the advice. It's just not for me. And he doesn't really like. He thought I was depressed because I'm doing my videos, but the videos are what I feel is true for me right now at this point in life. So just stay true to yourself and keep going. You may lose people you thought were friends along the way, or have to keep distance from relatives, which is hard, but just do what's best for you. I wish you a good day, and be well, everybody.